with Olivia from BB Can 6. Oh my god, you guys, we are so happy to have half of the Ding Dongs here to talk to all of you. But first, let me remind you, if you've missed any of our past shows back or want to know the schedule for the future house guests that we are having on, you can check out all of our content back at yourrealityrecaps.com/bbcan. Of course, we are doing the show right now live on YouNow, so make sure you become a fan here so that you can ask questions in the chat room. You're alerted when we go live with the house guests. We have them on every single night, literally I feel like for the next 10 days. Who's, Allie's next. Allie is next actually on Sunday, so make sure you fan us here so that you are alerted when that happens. If you want to help support our shows, consider becoming a patron at yourrealityrecaps.com/patron. You get access to the patron-only group, prize giveaways just for patrons, the after shows with the BB Can house guests, and it helps support us going into Big Brother 20. Of course, you can always do a one-time donation at yourrealityrecaps.com/PayPal as well. And the number one fan on this show is winning Olivia's autograph, which you guys have been asking for. But look, without further ado, I need to bring on the lady that all of you want to hear from. It's Olivia. How are you doing?
Hi guys! Oh my god, I'm so good. How are you?
We are doing so good. I have to tell you, I legitimately, before this show, Liv, I was looking for ding dong sound effects and I couldn't find any that I liked. They were all like womp womp. They were like sad trombone ding dong noises. So
that is so funny.
Look, I don't think this is any surprise, Liv. How many people just love you and thought that you were a comedic bright spot this season, and also, I think, played an understated game.
Thank you. Honestly, that means so much to me because I'm always just an idiot. Like, I love self-deprecating humor. I don't take anything too seriously. And the fact that people found humor in it makes me so happy.
Oh, it was hands down my absolute favorite. I loved, and I said, I'm going to say it to your face. This is my thing. I'm saying everyone to everyone's face this season. The jokes to me. So I would, like, what I loved about you, Liv, is you could just be like, no, I don't care. Oh, are you having a bad day? My favorite was when Johnny asked you, like, what would you do with the money? And you were like, I'm going to go on a shopping spree. I'm going to go buy a computer. I'm going to buy a new outfit. And then Allie came in and Johnny's like, Allie, what would you do? And she's like, well, you know, my family is going through a rough time and I need to help. And without missing a beat, you were like, God, my answer sucked.
You have to be able to laugh at yourself. You can't take yourself too seriously.
You do. And a lot of people on this show say that I have a very expressive face, Liv. And I have to say, I might have called you a liar a few times this season and said, I'm going to, from now on, blame my eye rolling on dry eyes. That is what I'm going to do. Like yesterday, Ryan was on this show and Ryan was talking and sometimes I went, dry eyes, Ryan.
Yeah. Oh, I always dry eyes, Ryan.
Dry eyes, Ryan. Yeah. Well, look, I need to let everybody know. You guys are in the chat room right now. Start leaving your questions. We will be collecting your questions. Of course, you can tweet them to me using hashtag YRRLive. I will be pulling them from there as well. But first up, I see we have a question from the chat room. And you got this actually from a lot of people wanting to know what drew you to Allie to make such a connection early on in the game.
My basic answer to this, which I'll expand on because I know people hate this answer, is I can't really describe it. It was just sort of this connection we felt. Even like 20 minutes into the house, I didn't know anybody and I was just drawn to her. And then as I got to know her, like, and you like get to know people that you meet in the house so quickly. So even when I say get to know, I just mean 2 days in.
Right.
And I could feel how real she was. And you guys hopefully have seen that's how I am too. I'm just myself. I'm not trying to be someone else. And I felt like that's how she was as well. So how can you not love that in someone if you're like that as well?
Right.
And I just felt like we clicked and we both don't take ourselves too seriously and we love to joke around. And I knew she was going to be my person.
Okay. And I think we all loved watching you two together. And I think every single season there always seems to be like a pair that I think fans love watching together.
Mhm.
And I don't think you need to know. I don't think you have to have a specific thing. I think just being drawn to each other, I think it's like you were soulmates.
It's so true. And I think she said this in one of her interviews, but it was like the closest thing to platonic love at first sight.
Right.
We were just like, wow, this just works, and we could not be more different, but it just worked.
Did you ever think that there could be a point in the game where you would turn on her, or was she literally your ride or die no matter what? We did see times in the house when you would have conversations with certain people saying like, "Ooh, I might need to distance myself," but Big Brother Canada, we never really get the DRs to
Right.
really know. Did you mean it, or was it
Yeah.
just strategy in that moment?
Well, here's the thing. She was for sure my ride or die, but I am not going to be loyal to a fault. Like I
Okay.
was here to play a game. I'm here to win $100,000, and I would hope because I would respect if she had to make that decision, and I would hope in return that she respects, the steps that I made before she was out of the house with Johnny. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to create a foundation for the longevity of my game had we made it past the triple because I knew that the reality was Ali was on the block. And I had a feeling that moving forward, one of us wasn't going to make it to the end. And I needed to secure that. In terms of what I said to other people about Ali and I, some of it was strategy and some of it was true. Of course, I embellish it to get the trust of others.
Right.
But like I said, I'm not going to be loyal to a fault. If I had at the end, if I had to cut her to ensure that I was going to get the 100,000, I would have. But I don't think that would have been the case.
Yeah, I don't think that would have been the case either. Becca SC wants to know, how did you guys come up with the name Ding Dongs?
I mean, some people can correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not 100% sure. But I think it happened when it was right after a live eviction, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Ali said, oh, we don't, oh, maybe it was after a POV ceremony when Veronica was backdoored. And I think Ali goes, oh, but we don't know what we're talking about. And I was like, yeah, we're so stupid. She goes, we're just a couple of ding dongs, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that was before.
The eviction. No.
Yeah, before the name was. I honestly don't remember.
Well, I think that was it. I think the point is she just wanted to know, was it something specific? So it was Ali saying we're a bunch
Yeah,
of ding dongs
yeah,
that made it be ding. And then did you ever think, like, have you watched any of the show back yet, or are you?
yeah. I watched episode 1, and then I
Okay.
watched from episode 7 to like the triple.
Okay. So then you've seen your ding dong edit.
Yeah,
You've seen the dinging and the donging.
yeah.
New York Italian over on Twitter wants to know, does Liv have a favorite ding dong moment in the jury house that she could share? Is there anything fun that you and Allie got to do, or in the house?
Well, I taught when it was just Ryan, Johnny, Ali, and myself before Maddie came in. I taught them how to play euchre, and
Okay.
that's one of my favorite card games. And Ali and I were partners for that, and we kicked butt, still being
Okay.
a couple of ding dongs. And it's funny because even in the jury house, Johnny and Ryan and whoever else were referring to us as ding dongs instead of our names, and I thought
Uh-huh.
that was hysterical.
Let me ask you this, because I feel like now this is going to be the question that we need to ask on all these shows. I think I might call it the Ryan question from now on.
Sure.
Uh, do you believe that there was a power of veto in play that Hamza found this season?
Um, I did believe it until I watched the season back and I didn't see one.
There is not one. There
Yeah.
was none. Hamza lied to all of you. But Ryan, like, really believed it. He went on this whole thing about Hamza's secret power veto. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, I get what he was saying because the theory was that Hamza was so crazy and so adamant to be put on the block, and
Right.
who would be like that if they didn't have a power?
Right.
But yeah, I guess he didn't.
Nope, he did not. There was not one in the secret little vine. There was none. There was
Yeah.
no hidden secret powers. We got actually this question a lot for you as well. Did you ever watch any of BBUS? Like, were you a BBUS fan before being on Big Brother Canada, or not really?
Um, yes and no. There were a couple of seasons that I watched. I watched 3 seasons for US. The one where I don't know them very well. Last one, BB19.
Right, right, right.
The one where McCrae and Amanda got engaged.
Right.
And
That
then there
would
was
be
one
15.
before that I don't remember.
Okay, well, because here is the more specific question. People want to know, did you know who Brittany Haynes is? Have you seen Brittany Haynes's Big Brother game?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, you would love her because you two are very similar. I think a lot of her fans fell in love with you. You both have a very similar, like, personality and gameplay, I think. So I saw a lot of people in the chat room asking that. Little Big Red wants to know, is there anything that you said about anybody in the game that you were worried about them seeing or hearing when they watch the show back?
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about Allie seeing some stuff that I was saying, just because I know that I feel like she was almost more loyal than I was, which I hate to feel that way because, watching the show, I'm not an emotional person, and I have a hard time, like, seeing where other people are coming from. I believe that's called empathy.
Right, it's called empathy.
And I have a hard time seeing that. So I do feel badly about some of the stuff that I said, but I mean, it wasn't personal. It was just also you're stuck in a house with these people for 24 hours a day. And I was in there for like 8.5 weeks. How can you not need to rant about them once in a while? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So, I mean, I do regret that a little bit and I feel bad about that, but it is what it is.
All right. I got a very important question from someone in the chat room called Butterfly of Death. Wants to know, tell me something horrible about Johnny.
Horrible?
Yeah.
Well, I did a little segment on Skip the Dishes in the DR.
Right.
I don't know if anyone saw that, but it was Johnny takes the longest showers ever because he does this thing where he like touches his arm and stares into space, and he does that in the shower, and he's in the shower for like 45 minutes.
Are you telling me that Johnny is rubbing his arm in the shower for a long time?
No, you can see it. He touches over here. Don't take that the wrong way. He goes like this.
Another reason you should watch Brittany Haynes' season, actually a plot line of Brittany Haynes' Big Brother season, is Lane in the shower. No, Johnny really is in the chat room, Liv, and he says, question for Liv, who is the most handsome person to play Big Brother Canada 6?
Oh my God, he just wants me to say him.
Say Ryan.
Yeah, Johnny.
Okay. Great Dane Mom wants to know, why in the world, she's very adamant about this, why in the world did you not go after Kayla earlier?
Yeah, I got this a lot from people in the season as well, asking me afterwards about it. But here's the thing. So there were 2 main duos, and we had told the entire house, as you guys saw, that we were going to be working together and not going after each other until the triple. And as Ryan pointed out to me in the jury house, it actually worked. Like, people were like, oh, we don't need to go after either of them because they're going to go after each other in the triple. We don't need to worry about that.
Right.
And so we didn't take them out earlier because we didn't need to. We were working with them. And honestly, I think if we had taken them out, Allie and I would have been a bigger target earlier.
Right. I agree. I mean, I think it's so hard to do revisionist history when it comes to Big Brother, because one thing affects another thing, and you don't know where anything would end up. But Steph9710 in the chat room wants to know, would you have voted out the renom had Johnny put one of the trio up instead of Allie?
So here's the thing about that.
Okay.
Allie and I were conspiring in the beginning, being like, let's say whatever it takes to put up one of the trio so that we can just vote them out anyways. But then when it became a reality that Johnny was going to put up Allie or myself, we were like, okay, we just have to be honest about this because he's going to smell the bullshit. And I was dead serious that I would have voted out Kayla even if Maddie was up beside her.
Interesting. What was it like? A lot of people, a big moment in the season was kind of when Johnny was with you, when you were HOH, and like, don't you put Maddie on top, blah. And I was like, damn. Johnny is
Yeah.
gay. What was it? Was there even a moment in your mind in that second when you were like, maybe it's just with Johnny out?
No, no, God, no. Honestly, like there are very few people in that house that you feel an instant connection with. And
Okay.
even if you don't necessarily work with them directly, like Johnny and I had a weird dynamic. We really trusted each other, but also we didn't always work together. But like I was saying, there are very few people that you get this connection with. So Erica was one of them, Johnny was one of them, and Allie was one of them, and even Paris at times. But I found out that was bullshit. But that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to keep these people around because it's so far and few between. So even though he freaked out at me, I was like, I mean, that's something I can get over,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed him in my corner.
Okay. Michelle M in the chat room wants to know, would you, and you got this actually a lot, would you ever do Big Brother again? So let's start there. Would you ever do Big Brother again if you were asked?
Yeah, I would if I had a break. I
Okay,
need
so
a
you needed a
mental
break.
break, and then I would for sure.
What about Amazing Race? Would you ever do Amazing Race?
Yeah, what's funny, Allie and I were just texting about that last night because we just found out that this season of Amazing Race Canada was just cast. And I need to get into shape.
Mm-hmm.
But once that happens, I think next year's Amazing Race we could potentially go for.
I would love to see you and Allie do Amazing Race together. Oh my God, it would be my favorite.
We would lose though, if I'm being totally honest.
Why? It would be the best TV.
We just would. But we'd make the
Yeah.
first week funny. It's fine.
I don't think that you would lose because I honestly think that they would want you guys to be around for a long time and to just have fun. I think you could do it. Like, honestly, I think you both are very, just like this season, I think you both are very, like, underrated. Like, people just think, oh my God, they're just having fun. They're just, they're just here and they don't, like, I don't think people will see how strategic you're being and how you're plotting against them on The Amazing Race either.
Right, yeah.
What about Survivor?
I could never do Survivor. Never.
Agreed.
I could not do the fact that you don't have any of your belongings.
Mm-hmm.
I barely survived mentally in a house where food was provided and you had a bed to sleep in every night. So Survivor is out of the question.
I want to actually jump over because I saw a lot of people talking about this as well. How much fun did you have? Think it was the Wendy's task, right? Where you had to, take the shower and I'm not helping and I'm not cutting the salad and I'm not were people really buying it and did you love doing it? Because, we get to see the edited version of it, but like, what was it really like for you in that moment in doing that?
Well, it was like mixed emotions. It was so much fun that I got to do a task and like mess with the house guests, knowing that the outcome would be good. But it was also freaking terrifying because I was on Will's team, who's a hothead you've seen, Erica's team, who's emotional about family stuff, and then Derek, who's intense. And I was like, they're going to literally slaughter me. So I was a little freaked out about that, but then I was like, okay, I just got to go with it. In the end, it'll be hilarious. And it was so much fun to do. And everything you saw was pretty much everything that went down.
Okay. Who do you think you would have connected with in the house had Allie not been there? Do you think you would have, I guess, become closer with Johnny or do you think it would have been anyone else?
I think so if Allie wasn't there, but all of the bed situation was pretty much the same, because I think that was a really large determining factor this season, which is super weird, but it is what it is. I think I would have been closer with Johnny. I think Johnny, Erica, and I would have been a stronger 3 to begin with, like right off the bat, and I think that would have been solidified. And I think that's how I would have moved forward. But you know what's funny is Maddie and I have talked about the fact that we think we probably would have worked together if we had been in the same room, because her and I actually, as much as we like butted heads in the game, we are very similar on a personal level and we get along really well on a personal level.
Okay, that is interesting to me. I would not have guessed that you would have said that, so that actually is pretty interesting. When you were evicted, you said that your biggest regret was helping get Erica out. Is that still your biggest regret, watching some of the season back now?
If I could have convinced Johnny to put up Maddie instead of Allie, that would be my biggest regret. But looking back, I don't know if that even would have been a possibility because he was so dead set on putting Allie or myself up to ensure that Kayla went home, which is ironic because it didn't happen.
Right.
But not so much like the Erica thing wasn't so much a regret. It was more so something like I was interested to see how the outcome would have been if she had stayed.
Right. Well, that yeah, I would have actually liked to see what happened if she stayed too.
I know.
BB Little wants to know, Olivia, if Derek had made it to the final two with Paris, who would you have voted for? So in a Derek Paris final two, who were you voting for?
Um, Here's the thing about that also. It's like I guess I'll just relate it to the Kayla vote as well. So I thought Kayla and Derek, they really paralleled in a sense mine and Allie's game because I felt like in a way Allie was more aggressive than I was, and I was playing a game that not a lot of people really realized was happening until you either watch it back or you talk to other people. And I felt like that was sort of Derek's case. However, I will say I thought the beginning of the season, Derek didn't really do all that much, even now having watched it back. But that being said, the end of the game, he did a really great job. So it's sort of the same argument as it is with Kayla versus Paris. It really comes down, like I said, to I went in open-minded. It came down to the final speeches and questions. I probably honestly still would have voted for Paris because the fact that she, like my determining factors for her, played an amazing social game, I thought. Even at times it was a little messy. She managed to reel it back in and clean it up and, bring herself to final three and then to final two. And then the way she answered the questions and her final speech really just, it just solidified it for me. And I think it would have been the same outcome if it was Derek.
Okay, so then speaking of Derek, what if it would have been Derek and Kayla in final two? Do you feel like it would have come down to their answers in that scenario as well?
Yes and no again. But the thing is with Kayla and Derek, like I said, I thought that, Kayla did a lot more in the beginning of the game. And then she had a lot more, even though her social game was a little messy at times and a little bit aggressive and sometimes dirty. As a fan, I love that. As someone who lived in the house, it wasn't as nice to deal with. But I thought that her game was a lot more consistent and a lot more, she had a lot of the heat all the time and she was the one who had to deal with that. So I think it would have been a lot closer and maybe even leaning more towards Kayla than Derek for the win.
Okay. Let's talk about this because I saw Becca was asking. I saw a lot of people were asking this. I'm actually going to take it from Melissa L in the chat room. She said, "What was it like to see Kayla yelling at all of you and calling you babies during her jury answers?"
Here's the thing is when you're in that high pressure situation, you start saying things that are maybe a little desperate, for lack of a better word. Right. A little like she's on edge, she's like probably nervous, she's really anxious, all of this emotion is building up, so she's sort of just blurting stuff out. I definitely didn't take it personally. I just thought as an end speech it should have been a little bit more giving credit to the jury as opposed to trying to steal credit.
Correct. I definitely agree. I definitely think that Paris went into jury speeches with the mindset of, I'm going to make the jury feel like they were part of helping me win. Whereas I feel like Kayla went in very much like, I won on my own and you had nothing to do with it. Haha, jerk. Which was fun TV. Which was real fun TV. But I was like, Kayla, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I would have loved that. And I would have done the same thing probably if people that you were saying that to weren't voting for your future.
Exactly, 100%. That's why I don't get why she did that at all either. Scott Style XO says, is there anyone you won't be friends with post-season?
You're going to hate this answer, but no. Like, honestly, our season is so tightly knit. And even just, we went to, like, the alumni weekend, and everyone was like, wow, your season is so close. Like, everyone is such good friends despite everything that happened. We have been able to, like, compartmentalize and realize it's just a game, and we all get along really well.
I love it. I feel like every season I take on some self-imposed burden of wanting the cast to always realize it's just a game and please like each other and don't hate and attack each other on social media nonstop. And you guys handle it perfectly. Even during the season, like you guys are in the middle of those fights and you're like, you're the worst, you're the devil, I can't stand you at all. Hold on one second.
Yeah, sure, go.
Okay, you're the devil. I don't know. No, that was you guys. That was not me. That was my impersonation of all of you. You were just like screaming at each other, and then you would literally pause, laugh about, like, did you guys just hear that I just called her, like, that I just called him guy lights? That was hysterical. All right, are you ready? Let's go. I was like, is this a scene? Like, are we watching a play? Like, did they rehearse this when the feeds were down? Where they literally, like, passed around, like, a little script and, like, we're all just going to do this as, like, a game right now?
No, but it's so funny that you say that because that really is how it happened.
It was. It was the best. And honestly, I feel like it really made you guys super endearing to all of us in that aspect that we could kind of be in the feelings with you, like, oh, I can't believe this happened or that happened. But then to just watch you all kind of be okay with it so quickly after, really, I saw the least amount of hate on social media I've ever seen this season of Big Brother. And I really think it's a testament to how you all played the game, I guess is my point.
So true. And honestly, at first I was a little bit worried that the season would be boring because we all got along so well. But then at the same token, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm confrontational, but I'm not the type to like bite my tongue. But there was no need for me to get into drama because everyone was just so awesome.
Everybody was. Demetrius H wants to know, what did you whisper to Allie at the end during Kayla's answers? Like, do you remember what you said to Allie when Kayla was answering the questions on the live show?
I don't remember verbatim, but I think it was something like, well, there's our answer or something like that.
Okay. Were you surprised? I don't know why so many people, I feel like I'm saying this every show now. I'm surprised that people think this is so surprising, but were you surprised to learn Paris was a law student?
No, I was not surprised. I always thought she was a super smart girl. I mean, I knew she was in school. So the fact that, I think there's a scene of her and I sitting on the floor stretching, and I want to go to law school. So I was saying that I'm thinking about taking the LSATs, and she was like, what are the LSATs? Like, how do you do that? Like that sort of thing. And we were just talking about it, and she was like, yeah, I was thinking about going to law school. And I was like, you should, like, you're so smart, like, et cetera, et cetera. So no, it didn't surprise me at all.
And then after you guys were evicted, I forget who she was talking to. She was talking to somebody, and she literally was like, yeah, so when I passed my LSATs, and she was like she ran over to the camera and was like, oh my God, I hope that doesn't get back to Liv now that I said that. And so there, she had that moment too on the feeds.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's funny.
When you first left the house, you said that you respected Kayla and Derek's games the most and that you wanted Kayla to win. So what was it, anything specific that changed for you to give the vote to Paris?
So here's the thing. Going into the finale, I thought, like, comp wins aren't everything for me. And I've said that in the jury circle. I said, you know what? Comp wins is associated with power because you make power moves. But if you're able to make moves without having power, it's just as respectable. So going into the vote, like before we even got on stage, I was thinking, you know, Kayla is the one who played a totally different social game than Paris, but equally good in my opinion. And she was the one who's won all these competitions, so she's been able to make moves. And then when we get on stage and we find out that Paris has taken herself to final 3 and to final 2, so she's won all the competitions that are absolutely necessary, it sort of evened the playing field for me because I thought they both played really good social games. They both have won competitions that were important. And so I'm like, hey, that doesn't make it any easier. I'm just going to wait till they have to wait to see what they have to say. And then we heard what they had to say, and you saw my vote, so.
Okay. Denise wants to know, this is your little shady, well, it's not shady. This is probably your hardest question.
Sure.
Denise wants to know, did you have a crush on Jesse?
Oh, God, yeah, I had a crush on Jesse. He was so cute. Who didn't have a crush on Jesse? Give me a break. You know what's funny about that, though, is this season made it so much more intense than it really was.
Uh-huh.
I was just I was just here having a good time, thinking he's cute, doing my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know this huge conspiracy going on
Mm-hmm.
behind my back. And watching it back, I mean, when I first got out, I was a little irritated by it because I'm like, come on, guys, you did me dirty. But then now I find it absolutely hysterical.
You mean
So,
the bathroom scene with him you talking about that scene?
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Here's my follow-up question, which is for me, and it's very important.
Sure.
Jesse with glasses or Jesse without glasses?
Oh, they're equally good. That's
No,
a
they
tough
are not. You are
one.
wrong.
Think? I'm
Oh,
going to say probably without.
no, with. Hands down with. We had several polls this season. It's with every time.
I know everyone says with. I'm going to say without.
All right, it's fine. You're allowed to be
Still
wrong.
be friends though, right?
Yes, we can. Whitney Watson wants to know, what did you think of Johnny calling himself the butterfly of death all season?
The first time I heard that was on stage right after the triple eviction. I'm like, you called yourself what? But like I can see him just running around the house in corners calling himself that. So I think it's fitting.
It was very funny. A question over from Twitter. Was there anything that Liv learned in the jury house about Paris's game that surprised or shocked her?
I did learn, this is just a small detail, it's probably not as interesting as you're hoping, but I learned that the week that Veronica got backdoored, the only people who knew was Erica, Allie, myself, Johnny. And then I told Paris maybe an hour before it happened just to make sure that she felt good with me.
Mm-hmm.
And then because I trusted her at that point, right? And then I found out that she actually told Maddie. And so that was like a surprise for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Was there any moments from the outside world that you found out that you missed while you were in the house that shocked you?
I mean, like news wise.
Yeah, like any real world events that I'm trying to think if there was anything big that happened while you were in the house, and I
mean,
can't think.
There was that. I'm sorry, I don't want to sound like I don't know because I haven't really looked into it yet. But
fine.
someone was in a bus or a van and in Toronto and they drove into a group.
Oh, yeah, that was horrific.
That was horrific because when I left jury, the Canadian flags were at half mast and we were all freaking out because we wanted to know what was going on.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say like, I miss the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
No, I just
that too, though. I did miss those.
You did. Well, you didn't miss anything. It was so horrible to see. Like, seriously.
Was it horrible? I'm just getting
shit.
started.
Oh, it's a shit
on the Beverly
season.
Hills.
Oh, it's a horrible season, Liv. Don't even fast forward through it. Just go right to the reunion. They literally give you all the best parts in those stupid reunion. It was the worst season ever, dare I say it, of Beverly Hills. Anyway, Abby Love wants to know, would the Ding Dongs consider coming to New York City for the Big Brother 20 premiere party?
Ooh, that would be so much fun if the Ding Dongs could afford it. We'll have to see.
Do you live near? I'm pretty sure the people that throw the New York City premiere party, I'm pretty sure they like put you guys up in a hotel and stuff like that. I don't think they pay for transportation to get to New York City, but I think if you get there, they pay for your like room and board while you're there, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's only like an 8-hour drive from Toronto, so it's not that big of a deal to drive there. I would for sure be down to that.
I can tell you it isn't exactly an 8-hour drive because I have done it for the past 4 years of Big Brother Canada. That is exactly how long it is.
Awesome. Yeah, I would for sure be down for that. The only thing is Allie is in Vancouver, which is not an easy hike.
No, we're going to have to get Allie there somehow. We want it. People want it. Great Dane. Oh my God, really? Great Dane Mom. Great Dane Mom in the chat needs to know, did the pizza taste good after you threw it up in the sink?
Like after I ate it, after I threw up?
I guess. Did you? No. Why would
No.
you didn't eat it after you threw it up? Oh, no, you did. You went and
but
ate
not
pizza.
the same. Like I went over to the fresh pizza. No, it didn't taste good, but I just needed bread in my system. That's why I ate it from the wrong end, for anyone who's wondering.
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense, actually. Maximus Mom. Oh, you got this a ton, too, on this show. Maximus Mom wants to know, not Big Brother related, but we watched you a ton on the feeds give makeup advice and stuff. You are a great makeup artist. What is your favorite moisturizer and foundation? Oh, this is a three-part question. Number
Okay.
one, what's your favorite moisturizer and foundation?
Okay. Thank you, by the way, for the compliment. I put so much effort in doing everyone's makeup and ran
Mm-hmm.
out of all of my makeup. In terms of a moisturizer and foundation, it really, the moisturizer, it really has to do with your skin type. And you have to, honestly, my advice would be go to someone where you can sit down and have a one-on-one consultation and figure out what the best moisturizer is for your skin, depending on your age, your skin type, what your lifestyle is like, and how much money you want to spend on it. So, I mean, I wish I could give you a one simple answer, but it's really not like that. So yeah,
Okay.
go sit down with someone and they'll give you advice on that.
Okay. Her number two is, are you aware of Lush Cosmetics? We love Lush here. Have you ever heard of Lush?
Lush. Is that the one with like the bath
Bath
bombs?
balls, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know they had cosmetics, but I love all of their like soaps and their bath bombs and stuff.
They do. They're amazing. And lastly, would you ever consider doing a YouTube channel doing makeup tutorials and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I might put a couple of videos out on my Instagram for like, like the question you just asked me. I'll give some advice depending on skin types and age and like what ones I like personally and
Mm-hmm.
like that are more affordable. I can do that sort of stuff really quick on Instagram. But the YouTube has definitely crossed my mind. I feel like that would be a great platform.
You should. I mean, I think a lot of people, I think that is an area postseason that I think a lot, you could build a huge brand, is what I'm saying. Because I think a lot of, I was floored how many people during the season would be tweeting, like, oh my God, Liv is doing makeup. Let's go watch Liv do makeup. Let's go see what she's doing. And I was like, oh my God, she needs to do that postseason. Definitely.
That's awesome. The only thing with that is I'm so technologically challenged. Like I would have to get some like serious in-depth training on even how to use like a camera.
Ta-da! If only you knew someone who's producing a show right now with you. I will help you if you need any tips.
Okay, cool, done.
Lost and Confused wants to know, what was harder, the game itself or Will's accent?
Oh, that's such a good question. Honestly, Will's accent for the first couple weeks, because I was like, you just like, in Madagascar, they're just like, smile and wave, boys, smile and wave.
Uh-huh.
That was literally me with Will. I'm just like, but yeah, in all seriousness, yeah, his accent was the hardest for the first 2 weeks.
I got news for you. It's still the hardest. Will is the only person I don't have scheduled for this show, and the whole reason is I have to get a translator first.
Yeah.
There's going to be a
Oh.
co-host or like subtitles. I don't know what he's saying half the time.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, he definitely got better, and as you're around him, you can figure out what he's saying based on his mannerisms, but it was literally another language for the first couple weeks.
Like if he's angry and he's just stomping around.
Yeah, well, there
Oh,
were some times where he talks really fast, and you're just like, okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. I can't be bothered to try and figure this out.
yeah, it was crazy. What do you think? This from the chat room. What do you think was your biggest move from the season? Like, what would you say was your biggest move from this season?
My biggest, obviously, direct move was getting Hamza out,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that was the biggest move because he was I mean, fans were upset about it. I get why,
Mm-hmm.
because he was such a fan favorite. I understand it. He's an amazing guy. He's so interesting. He's a wild card. But as a fan, that's awesome. But as someone who lives in the house with him, scared to death of all of his moves, I'm like, no, he has to go.
I will say yes. It was frustrating. We were like, really, Hamza? I mean, I got it. I would have probably done the same thing, but
Yeah.
it only for a second. Did we feel like, ooh, that was a blow to feeds? But you did not let us down after. We thought it was going to be a real big feed blow not having Hamza, but I would have done the same thing. He was way too unstably acting in that house, our little
Legit, that's all it was. I mean, he was a comp beast and he was good with a lot of people, but it wasn't even that because there were so many other people that were on that level. It was the fact that he did whatever he wanted. So, like, out of the rule books, you were trying to follow along, figure out his next step, and you just couldn't.
Yeah. Destiny says, how is your relationship with Hamza now? He was very bitter after your eviction of him.
I know. Honestly, anyone who's pre-jury, I definitely don't take anything they say to heart when they leave because they don't have, like, I had 2 weeks in the jury to decompress, come to terms with all of my thoughts. You really you level out and you simmer all of that rage that you have. Well, maybe not rage, but you know what I have. You know what I mean? Resentment. And to their defense, they didn't have that time to like just decompress before they got their phones. They maybe had 2 days. So then when they get their phones, of course they're still feeling infuriated and what have you. So I think everything he said is totally justified. Like he's allowed to be mad. But our relationship now is totally fine. He's an awesome guy. His fiance is awesome, and we had so much fun this past weekend.
Oh, at the alumni thing that you guys did. All right, I need to remind everyone, I don't even know where time goes. We only have about 10 minutes left, so I want to get to a few more of your guys' fan questions. Go ahead, keep putting them in the chat room. I just want to remind everybody very quickly, make sure you become a fan here now if you're watching live on YouNow so that you're alerted every time we go live. Like I said, up next is Allie on Sunday night. I think Monday is Maddie. Tuesday is Kayla. The schedule is on our website. We're tweeting them out. You guys know the deal. So make sure you become a fan so that you are alerted. Of course, if you miss them, you can watch them back on our website. And of course, the #1 fan on this show so far, it's Becca, is winning Olivia's autograph.
Yay, Becca!
Yay, Becca. Okay, so let's go over to Darcy St. Amant wants to know, have the Ding Dongs done an Instagram live together yet? And if not, will you? I think you did.
Yeah, no, we haven't yet because all of the other people, like Jesse and Derek did one yesterday, Kayla did one, Paris did one, so we're kind of waiting. I think Hams and Will did one. So Sunday we're doing one. I forget what time. Allie's going to post about it, and then I'll post about it, but it's going to happen Sunday.
Okay, so make sure you guys are following them on Instagram. We'll go over all your social medias at the end. Wait, then what was the video of you and Allie saying goodbye to each other? That was
that was just recorded by her boyfriend at the airport. That was really so sad. I never cry, and I cried in that. I was so upset.
I did not like that video.
I know, it's seriously depressing.
Maybe we'll put it. Maybe on the edited version, it'll be right here, ding or not. We'll see when we edit the show back. Steph in the chat room wants to. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Jackie in the chat room wants to know: have you heard at all from Rosina? She really loved you this season.
Yeah, I mean, I have everybody from my season on my phone, so we constantly text and we're in contact. But Rosina came with us on the trip, and I really got a chance to pick her brain about the season because she did leave so early. And she told me about certain things that she liked and didn't like, and we really got to know each other better because when someone's there for just a week and there are so many other people, it's hard to get to know everybody. So yeah, we definitely are keeping in contact. Love Rosina.
Okay, I love Rosina too. Can you got this a lot as well. People are asking, can you talk a little bit more about your relationship with Paris? It was one of the most interesting for fans to watch.
Yeah, Paris is such, like, okay, I love saying this because Allie is my other half, but Paris is like a weirdo like I am. Like, we have this weird side to us that it's brought out when we're with each other. And it's definitely, like, you can look it up and it's like a flirtmance thing, but it's so much fun. And she's definitely one of my favorites in the house, like probably top 5.
Okay. With Paris in the house, like, were you at all surprised to learn how much she was gaming behind the scenes? I think a lot of people don't, just like your game, a lot of people, I feel, don't give Paris enough credit for moves that she made. You know, getting Ryan put up instead of Maddie, even directing the target away from you and Allie sometimes, and then unfortunately back onto you guys at times. So is that shocking to learn?
It wasn't shocking because I think what gets underestimated is people's personal connections. That's what a social game is. You know, making people trust you doesn't come from walking in a room and being like, this is what we're going to do, A, B, C, D, you know, being super aggressive. It comes from, it comes from making people feel comfortable and, you know, making them trust you, which is what Paris did with 99% of the people in that house. And it definitely did not surprise me finding out how much gaming was going on behind the scenes. I honestly, if that didn't happen, I would have been surprised.
Interesting. What was the point that you decided Veronica needed to leave? Was that whole hinky vote thing really a determining factor to you, or was it something else?
It was not a determining factor. It was just another variable added to the list of things that sort of solidified a reason for her to go because she was sort of like a female version of Hamza. You know, they're both so determined. When they want something, they freaking want it and they get it. Right. They're both like comp beasts and they were both wanting to stir shit up. And that's, like I said, I'm sorry to the viewers because I know you guys love that, but as someone in the house cannot have it happening.
I mean, look, that's, for me, that's always the best Big Brother players. The best Big Brother players are the ones that control the chaos to further their game. Chaos is great for a viewer. It's not great when you need to control a social game.
Exactly.
So I think most people understand that. If you had survived the triple, who would you have worked with, and what do you think your plan would have been going forward?
So assuming Allie went home the way she did, and if Johnny and I had, if I had survived the triple, being that I won it, I would not have put Johnny up. So moving forward, I would have worked with Johnny. And honestly, I think that would have been the case regardless. Like if Johnny had gone home and it was, you know, like Derek and then the three and then me, I still probably would have worked on my own. Or maybe I would have teamed up with Derek. I don't really know, but I probably would have been more so on my own.
How shocked were you? You know, we kind of saw it, but how shocked were you to see Will throwing that final five veto? Just like totally safe either way, but I'm just going to give it to Derek and Kayla.
It pissed me off more than words can describe. I mean, he's such a nice guy, so I hate to like, you know, talk shit about him, but I mean, it was probably one of the stupidest moves of the season because he could have gotten Derek out that week if he had just stuck it out and won the veto. I mean, but it is what it is.
And I don't think we're talking shit about Will the person. I think we're talking shit about Will's game move. And Will, if you didn't know, that was a horrible move. I will tell you.
Horrible.
Bad game move. But yes, obviously Will the person. We love Will the person.
Yeah.
Leah G wants to know, has Liv watched the show interviews? So I guess, have you watched everybody's, I guess, like intro packets, I guess is what she's asking? Like to learn about what everybody's real deal was going in the house.
Right. I saw everyone's bio because I watched the first episode, but I have not watched anyone's pre-interview except my own. Okay.
Interesting. I'm trying to remember.
Something good. I'm actually going to do that right after this is done because that's a very interesting point that I completely forgot about.
I remember saying, because people did not let me forget this old season, I remember watching it. I thought that you were going to be hysterical. Yeah. And I remember also saying I thought Kayla was most likely to punch someone in the face.
Yeah. Honestly, my bio, knowing myself, I find it hilarious, but I can understand why people got bad first impressions from it.
I don't think real fan, not to say that you're not a real fan if you didn't think that, but I think longtime viewers of the show, I don't think watched your bio and went, oh, I think we kind of got what you were about and what you were doing in it. Jessam says, question, where did you learn to do the infamous and unforgettable side-eye?
Oh, honestly, it's sort of just like my face is so expressive. People will tell me that I'm making a face about something, and I honestly just don't even realize it. I didn't even know that I was side-eyeing in the house. So I'm sorry, I can't answer your question. It just happens, I guess.
I agree. I don't know all the time too. People always yell at me, like I'll be talking to someone that I may not love on this show, and I'll like glance over the chat and they'll be like, Eric, your face. And I'll go, oh, I mean, I'm happy. Jersey Lynn wants to know, how shocked was Liv to see Will and Ronnie in the tub listening in on her conversation with Hamza? Or have you not got there yet in the show?
No, I got there. I wouldn't I sort of expect that sort of stuff from Hamza, so it didn't even surprise me. And honestly, looking back, I didn't even say anything that bad. I think all I said was I'm going after Maddie maybe, and that I think that the house wants to go after the new people, because I'm very careful with my words with people that I don't trust.
Right.
So I wasn't about to go in there with Hamza and say a whole bunch of shit that will bite me in the ass. So I was careful. But it didn't really surprise me because I know Hamza.
Jordan W. Lester 88 wants to know, what did you think of Paris's impression of you and other house guests?
Are we talking about the impression where she's like joking with me and joking about me from me? I thought it was so funny. I mean, that was another one of our like friendships, is that like she didn't take me too seriously, and like we joked around all the time, and that's one of them. She always made fun of me when I said stupid stuff, and I love having friends like that, because you know sometimes you can get up in your head, and she goes, Kate, like screw yourself, you're not that awesome. And I'm like, yeah, true.
I loved it. That was again one of the funniest parts, I think, for this season. I'm going to say final question now, and then we're gonna, I know we can't get to all of your guys' questions. We still have to go over to the patron show, but make sure you guys are following Liv on social media. We'll get to her social medias in 1 second. First, let me end by asking you a question from our town, who wants to know, is there anything that you learned about yourself playing this season of Big Brother that maybe you didn't know about yourself when you went into the house?
I mean, I'm a pretty self-aware person. I would say the only thing that I learned is that I can hide my intolerance with people a lot better than I thought I could. And you really, in the house, you really learn to have patience, because the smallest thing, even if it's something justified, if you freak out at someone for it, even about food or like clean up your plate or something like that, when it's a game, you have to be so careful with stuff you say. So I really couldn't snap at anyone, and I realized how patient I could be and how patient I need to be. So that's definitely something I learned.
Well, here's something that I learned, and it is how many people love you, how many people think you are hysterical, and how many fans you have, Liv. I want to give you full screen to say whatever you want to say to your fans right now. The floor is yours. You have hundreds of people watching you, and then I'm going to come slide back in here, and we'll go over your social medias. But first, the floor is yours. I'm putting you on the spot. What do you want to say to your fans?
I just want to say thank you to all of my fans who loved me. It means so much. I appreciate that you guys saw that I was being myself and being the idiot that I am, but you guys thought it was funny. So that's amazing. And I will definitely try and keep up with you guys. And, I have Twitter, and I'm just learning how to use it because I'm ancient, apparently. And I'll try and post my thoughts on there so you can keep up with hashtag things Olivia says. But in all honesty, thank you for everything, because being on a platform where you could be scrutinized and judged, and then having that be the opposite, means the world. So thank you.
Love it. Okay, so now speaking of Twitter, people can follow you on Twitter at OliviaBBCan6.
Yeah.
Where else do you want people to follow you on social media?
You can follow me on Instagram, and it's just my name, Olivia Riemer.
Okay.
So I'll post like makeup things and life stuff on there.
And soon to be her YouTube channel.
Yeah.
We will post to come. We will post all of the links to Olivia's social media below this edited version. Thank you, chat room, so much for hanging out, chatting with Liv, and congratulations, Becca. You are the #1 fan. Becca, congratulations. Patrons, we will see you guys in a minute or two. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you guys later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.